saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. The next one comes from 4D. And it is from office supplies to administrator. Account number from office supplies is 22110, transferring it to the 4D administrator, account number 11462, the amount of $817. Why is this transfer needed? Budget year 2024, the category for the 4D administrator was increased. This is to account for the pay rate difference. Will additional appropriation be requested due to this transfer? The answer is no. Was it discussed with the liaison? And the answer is yes, and that was Amy Dembski. Amy, anything you'd like to add to this?
Just clean up.
Okay. Do we have a motion for approval? We have a motion by Amy Dembski to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Bill Van Wy. Any further discussion from the council?
This is just cleaning up what we already done, just didn't have enough money in that account.
Correct.
Okay.
Hearing none, no further discussion. We'll call for the question for the approval of the $817 to the 4D account. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Next one comes to us from Cume Capital Development, specifically the courthouse. And it is from account number 33680, which is building repair and maintenance, to account number 44610, purchase of vehicles, for the amount of $21,500. Why is this transfer needed? Vehicle purchase wasn't originally planned in budget, moving funds to an appropriate account for expenditure type. Will additional appropriation be requested due to the transfer? The answer is no. Was it discussed with the liaison? And that answer is yes. And the liaison's name is Amy Dembski. Amy, anything you would like to add to this discussion?
I was just moving money to pay for that truck that they purchased.
Okay. Do I hear a motion for approval? Have a motion for approval by Amy Dembski. Do we have a second? By Rick Collins. Any further discussion from the council? Hearing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor of approving the $21,500 for the courthouse signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Next one comes to us from the local public health services. There are two here, one for equipment to insurance and the other from insurance to self-insured. If we have consensus from the council, we could do these in one consensus. Thank you. Okay, it's from the health department. The account to be transferred, account number is 1161.44430.000.0500. Title account is equipment being transferred to account number 1161.12200.000.0500, and that account is insurance for the amount of $14,284.89. Why is this transfer needed? Due to an error in the account where insurance was deducted. Will additional appropriation be requested due to this transfer? The answer is no. Was it discussed with the liaison? And the answer is yes, and that was Bill Van Wy. Bill, anything you'd like to add to this?
I can't say it any better than what she did across there.
Okay. Do I hear a motion for
You gonna
approval?
do the other one? Do the second one? Is what you got?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Yes, we do. I thought that was on one there. The second one transfer then is from local public health services, account number 1161.122.00.000.050, and the account title is insurance. The account number is 1161.00286.000.050, and that is from the Health Department and that's awful small.
So it's just, they used an incorrect account at the beginning of the year. That is an account that you guys will never see because it has to do with withholding for payroll before it gets paid out to the insurance company. So they're just correcting what was wrong to begin with. They didn't budget in that account, and I don't know why they used it.
Thank you. Why is this transfer needed? For error in the account where insurance was deducted. Will additional appropriation be requested due to this transfer? And the answer is no. Was it discussed with the liaison? Yes. And the liaison is Bill Van Wy. Bill, anything you'd like to add to this?
I couldn't explain it any better than she did.
Well spoken.
Susan did a good job, you know.
So,
Thank you.
okay,
Is the money in the right account for 25? Okay.
It was in the
That's
right
it.
account for 24. They just gave some wrong information. I'm going to say is just go with it. It's not asking for more. It's just taking care of a mess.
life is good. Do we have a motion for the approval?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Bill Van Wy. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Rick Ring. Any further discussion from the council? Hearing none, we'll call for the question. And that would be for the approval of the equipment to insurance for $14,284.89 and insurance to the UHC self-funded account number 00286 for $4,761.63. Any further discussion? We'll call for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. The next one comes to us from Central Communication. There are two of them. And if we have consensus from the council, we can do them as one. Okay, thank you. First one comes to us from Central Communications from the Public Safety, looks like county. Is that county there
County
for the fund name?
County share, it's the lit public safety fund.
Okay, thank you. The amount to be transferred is $25,000. Pardon me. And the account number is 1170.33240.4 or .000.0034, and the account title is Telecommunications. The amount being transferred to the account is 1170.11050.000.0034. The account title is overtime, and the amount is $25,000. The transfer was needed because of a coverage of a shortfall in overtime budget. Will additional appropriations be requested due to this transfer? The answer is no. Was it discussed with the liaison? Yes, and that was Rick Ring. Rick, anything you would like to add to this?
They're
Okay,
short in their overtime budget.
okay, thank
Are
you.
they short of employees?
It is a periodic thing. Right at this very moment, no. But they just had somebody turn in a resignation that's going to go back to being a full-time mother. So now they're out getting applications again.
So,
And I will say that as far as dispatch centers are being done right now, we have less trouble with that than others.
didn't we cut back their overtime at one time at the budget 2 years ago?
Well, we added some positions, didn't we?
We added positions,
We added
but I don't think
positions,
we
which
cut
cut back
we
some
didn't
of the
cut back on
overtime.
I think we
overtime.
cut back without
Just
looking.
naturally cut back on the overtime.
But that's one of the reasons for the overtime is when they're
Yes.
short of an employee, the other ones have to work, and so they have to cover the overtime.
Yeah, I understand that,
But-
yeah.
And I don't, at one point, there was an issue with when they were running when the police were running the specials on seatbelt
Fast.
stuff and that, they would always have to add an additional dispatcher to cover that. They don't have to do that anymore since we've added dispatchers. But, you know, those police department salaries or overtime is covered by grants from that program, but that would not apply to the dispatchers.
Any further questions? for
No,
Rick?
no, thank you.
Thank you, Sir Rick. Okay, pardon me. This is Central Communications. It's from the public safety account, coming from account number 1170.33630.000.0034, which is, the account title is Maintenance Controls, being transferred to account number 1170.11050.000.0034. The account title is overtime. The amount is $10,000. Why is this transfer needed? It was the coverage of shortfall in an overtime budget. Will additional appropriation be requested due to this transfer? The answer is no. Was it discussed with the liaison? And that is yes, and that is Rick Ring. Do we have a motion to approve the $35,000 from Central Communications?
So moved.
We have a motion from Rick Ring. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Bill Van Wy. Any further discussion or questions from the council? Hearing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor of approving the $35,000 transfer from Central Communications signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. The next one comes from Central Communications from the statewide 911 fund. The amount to be transferred is $5,150. And it is coming from account number 1222.44430.000.0034. The account title is Telecommunications Equipment, being transferred to account number 1222.34330.000.0034. The account title is Contractual Services, and the amount is $5,150. Why is this transfer needed? Fire Department pager project required install of new licenses, and vendor is a 1099 vendor. Payment was required to come from services account per auditor. Will additional appropriation be requested due to this transfer? The answer is no. Was it discussed with the liaison? Yes, and that is Rick Ring. Rick, anything further you would like to add to this?
Only to say that the money was in the wrong pocket.
Okay, thank
Needs
you.
to be moved.
Do I hear a motion to approve the $5,150?
So moved.
We have a motion by Rick Ring. Do we have a second?
A second.
Have a second by Bob Kraft. Any further questions or discussion from council? Hearing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor of approving the $5,150 for Central Communications signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, the next several are coming from the ARPA fund, and these are all from the commissioner side. And we'll just briefly go through these first of all. Pardon me. Okay, first of all, why is this transfer needed? We're transferring to appropriate accounts for expenditures that will happen again to clean up everything for the year. Will additional appropriation be requested due to the transfer? The answer is no. Was it discussed with the liaison? And that is yes, and that was Rick Ring. Rick, anything you want to add before we?
Just that, correct me if I don't say this correct, Susan, but the ARPA money was initially put into more of a general category, and as it was spent, it would go to the appropriate line item. And so what she's doing is cleaning it up, moving it out of that general category into its specific category where the expenditures were. You do note that there are two of them on there that are not part of the approval transfers needed, but they were non-approval transfers that she just wanted everything together so that you could see it all.
We'll just briefly go through these real quick. We are transferring from account number 32840, consultant fees, to insurance, which is account number 12200. The amount is $1,407,149.32. The next miscellaneous expense is from account number 99500 to operating supplies, account number 22130, for the amount of $57,883.26. The next one, excuse me, is from the miscellaneous expenditure from account number 99500 to repair and maintenance supplies, account number 22310, in the amount of $9,320.12. The next one, miscellaneous expenditure, is from account number 99500 to supplies, account number 22720, for the amount of $413.10. The next miscellaneous expenditure is account number 99500 to repair and maintenance supplies for the building, account number 22860. The amount is $27,188.59. The next one is miscellaneous expenses from account number 99500 to the Highway Department Operations, account number 31064. The amount is $32,591.44. The next one next miscellaneous expenditure comes from account number 99500 to telecommunications, account number 33240. The amount was $8,088.95. Pardon?
8,086.
What number did you have on that one?
8,086.95.
$8,086.95. Sorry, thank you. The next one, the next miscellaneous expense comes from account number 99500 to legal notices, account number 33330. The amount is $90.28. The next miscellaneous expense comes from account 99500 to utilities, account number 33540, in the amount of $8,122.02. The next miscellaneous expense comes from account number 99500, and that is being transferred to grant match dollars, account number 34022, in the amount of $135,277.67. The next two are the ones Rick talked about here that have a little bit different account number they're coming from. This is highway projection and construction, and the account number is 35699, and that is a grants match dollars account going to account number 34022 in the amount of $813,922.29. And the next one is construction consultant fees coming from account number 32840, and that is going to grant match dollars, account number 34022, in the amount of $70,323.